please.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other. So grateful this morning to have Dr. Janet. She'll be presenting um, what was compassionate leadership. What a great approach to leadership where you can, through understanding and trust, you can build connection with your team and the people you work with. So I'm so thrilled with this topic. So with that, Dr. Janet, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're so passionate about this topic. Thank
Wow.
you.
Uh, Thank you. And I guess that's a long story. Like all of us have these stories. And it's always hard to figure out which story is the story. So this one actually came about during COVID. And it was at that time we're all in lockdown and we're watching TV and we're seeing the world change. And I don't know if you feel that way, but to me, nothing's quite been the same since COVID. And during that time, I could not go out and do the work that I love, and that's working in organizations and teaching, creating workshops with women in leadership. So I started doing them online and eventually put my whole work online and learned how to be a marketer, a content writer, all of these things. So I feel like from COVID to now, I've been earning another doctorate degree. It's just been overwhelming to try because I was never a technical kind of person before. But I guess I can't say that now because that's all I do. So it just seemed like the world really needed leadership in a whole new way, a new paradigm of leadership. And I had also come out recently to that time from a situation that was very, well, a couple different ones, kind of harassment, fraudulence, and a lot of that toxic corporate culture. So when I decided to hire an attorney and actually file a lawsuit against the university that I worked at in a leadership position, was the change of everything for me. And I did win the lawsuit, but I did not go back into that setting. And I realized how many other women are in that same kind of situation. And what I'm finding today, of course, it's not only women. So there's men who are going through this kind of harassment and feeling that we can't really speak out or we can't lead in the way that's best for us. I had one recent client who was telling a story about filling in another person's leadership role and feeling like they also had to fit in to their shoes and match and be the same leader as the other person. So let me know in the chat, or we have a small group, just unmute yourself and let me know if you've ever felt just held back in any work setting and even in relationships. So often, our relationships and our work experience reflect each other. And let me know if you see that too, or if you've experienced that in your own life.
I
So,
experienced that toward the end of my career where my boss of 25 years retired and a new boss replaced and different approach, different personality, and just not compassionate, not caring. And it's really
Mm.
hard. It impacted your work, because it doesn't motivate you to do anything for the university. I also work for San Diego State University.
Right.
So
That's right. We have,
anyway,
and
go ahead, Mo. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, in my personal life, there was always a ceiling of how much I was allowed to achieve based on the other person's expectations of me, because achieving too much was threatening. So, and then I think I created that in my mind. And so when I got divorced, and I was still carrying that limitation
mm,
in my mind, like, well, I want to be big, but I don't want to be too big. I want to get, I remember I had clients saying, like, be worried about being too big when you have too many clients. It was really nestled in my head. So it's been a lot to kind of rewrite that script in my head about, like, really going after the big, hairy dream, like being very, you know, being able to break that glass ceiling that I created for myself. And
right.
so, yeah, it's interesting just you talking about this, how personal it's relationships, period. I mean, it can be your relationship with food. It can be your relationship with your neighbors. There's a common thread through all these things.
Yeah, and that's so true and so well said. Thank you.
And
And
for me,
also, it's that, go ahead.
oh, I say, and for me, I found that as I was going through my divorce, I was able to reflect back over the years, over these decades since then, to recognize that as a child, as that little tender child, I was
Hmm.
too small, I was too little.
Hmm.
I was a people pleaser because I was the baby, but I was also a hyperachiever. Even as a child, I wanted to go with the big kids. I wanted to do, I wanted to do, I wanted to do. And so this people pleasing high achiever was quite a conflict in my being. And that has been really an amazing journey to me. And yeah, I hold that if the unexamined life isn't worth living, and that's the reason, because everything's going to keep limiting us for all of our
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, so those limits that and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And Rainy, if you can take a screenshot at any time, that'd be good too.
Okay. Well, I also would like to ask Lori. Lori is in a leadership position. How do you feel about this, Lori?
Yeah. Well, I probably have a lot of different scenarios, but I'll go back to at one point in my career, I wanted to be a district manager, and I had a leader that was very um, she just wasn't a nice person, but I probably had more knowledge than her, and more tenure than her, and more experience than her. So her way of handling that was to always try to make me feel as small as she could. So I think that I really had to come in and learn a different way of approaching her, so that I could still be a great leader for my people and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that resonates with me.
Yeah, so we're taught that we can't be in our full success or our brilliance, like um, Marianne Williamson's quote, it's not success or failure that we're really afraid of. We're afraid of our own brilliance. And we put a lid on that. And the glass ceiling is within our own mind, like Mo said so beautifully. It's built in from childhood, as Sandra said. And we carried that in to the positions. And then, like Lori is saying, it gets acted out and we're kind of diminished. And we do that to ourselves. So the mindset is so important to change and to be able to break through our own glass ceilings. I'm sorry if I sound all crackly. It snowed here last night, and my allergies are just going crazy. Hey, Olmeca, you're always out there running.
Do you have anything to say, Amika, before we give it back to Dr. Janet to continue with her slides?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
no, working on my leadership, nothing's held me back, and I really haven't worked for anyone for a really long time. And it was brief. Oh, so brief. So yeah, I would be the one holding myself back if anything. But having employees, and yeah, it's been a journey. Right now, it's been so long that I've just been working. Um, I work for other people, but kind of on my own terms and stuff. So it's a learning leadership and all of that. So yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to share the screen and take you through because, uh-oh, where'd it go? Let's see. I have this up. Okay. Let me try one more time here. Because I have a lot of background working with indigenous cultures and Native American tribes here in Arizona and New Mexico, that I happen to relate leadership to this medicine wheel or that circle of life. Let me go to the beginning here. There we go. And right now, because we're in spring, and I can't believe it's already April, and it's been a year since I was here last year, that we're coming into that place of spring, which is represented by the archetype on the medicine wheel of the visionary. So in leadership, we think about a visionary leader as someone who can see the bigger picture and has that ability to work on their own self in a very deep way and become that change that they would like to see in the world. So we inspire in transformational leadership, we inspire others by the continuous work that we do on ourselves. So the objectives for this particular workshop are to empower women in leadership so we can align with our highest vision. And so oftentimes in the workplace, we bring our vision in, and then as we've all said, it becomes kind of quieted or diminished. And to also explore visionary qualities that are essential in leadership codes to kind of crack those codes or that those barriers, and to promote a discussion. It's nice that we're in the size of a group. We can just freely chat as well. So I give credit to one of my mentors, and she's passed away, so rest in peace, Angelus Arian, who created this concept called the fourfold way. And it doesn't necessarily relate very specifically to leadership. Yet in the work that I've done, I've used her idea as a foundation and then added my piece of organizational development and leadership. So a typical medicine wheel starts in the east, and it's represented by different elements of the earth, the air, um, the rising of the sun, the rain that's coming in the springtime, new beginnings, planting seeds for our visions to grow. Our seeds that we plant become the legacy that we leave and lead. And being able to visualize it's a time of new beginnings and innocence. So, in the center, holding all of that together is the concept of something greater, the greater spirit, the higher consciousness, the beauty, the balance, the harmony. And then if we go across to the west, it's represented in the time of autumn. So I have a different course for each of these. And the west is the mystery, the great mystery, the unknown of the depths of the ocean. So it's that time of completion and beginning to go into the north direction, which is introspection and our grounding and alignment to the earth. I'm kind of skipping through these because I'm focusing on the visionary. And then the south, which we'll be coming to in the summer, all we get to see the plants beginning to grow, the blossoming, the blooming, our own lives beginning to unfold, that energy of expansion. So this is Angela's Arian's work. And again, I always honor her for that. So the life that I have today is actually a beautiful life. Some of you know my husband, who I've also done a lot of this work with, and my two sons, Jeremiah and Nathaniel, my little grandson, Victor. And I live in this picturesque little town, so awoke today and looked out the window to see snow like that in April. So this life that I have today, of course, wasn't always that way. And I shared some of that story earlier. In the corporate setting, I was taught, like we all are from maybe even childhood, it's kind of odd though in stature, I'm not 5 foot, just about 5 foot, but I never felt small or short as a child growing up until I got older and my kids started, towering above me. But in the workplace, as women, we're often told to play small. We shut ourselves down, as we've all mentioned. We have feelings of fear, even. We feel like we're not really seen for who we are or recognized for our expertise, our gifts, the talents that we have, our God given innate gifts. And we also work so hard to compensate to be that high achiever. Sandra, I think you talked about that overachiever to try to prove something. And I often wonder, is that why I have 2 master's degrees and a PhD?
Yep.
What was I doing?
Yep.
Yeah. And that leads, as we know, to burnout, to overwhelm. So in visionary traits, though, we want to be able to see that bigger picture, that visible and invisible truth, and creating a purpose and a life dream for ourselves, being able to have that flexibility to shape shift, or that's a Native American term too. I won't go into exactly what that means, but we've kind of adopted it to our culture today, yeah, to be able to change as needed and have that inner flexibility and resilience and still maintain our authenticity. So we've mentioned people pleasing. We've mentioned trying to fit in. trying to be the one that, is always striving to achieve. In that, we lose our authenticity. So in the visionary way, we learn to really adapt to those four ways of seeing and to trust in our own intuitive way where we see through that third eye. So I want, before we go too far on, to do just a little exercise in opening the heart and the throat. So we're going to inhale and bring our arms up and hold them kind of in a V shape. Yeah. So it makes like a vortex or a chalice, and we breathe through our nose and exhale just gently through the mouth. And this is a heart strengthener in yoga. And it also settles the nervous system, and it instantly takes stress away. So you want to also drop your shoulder blades. And if you can work up to 2 minutes, we won't do that today, but you can do that on your own. And while you're here, imagine the space being filled with golden light above you, that divine light that leads our visions, that leads our way. And let that light come in, the crown chakra at the top of the head, and work its way all the way down. And shake out your arms. If we're not used to that, you have to kind of work up to it. And one more time, inhaling and bringing the arms up and out together in prayer pose over the head. And if each of you will say an I am affirmation, I am centered. And say that aloud. You can unmute yourselves so we can all share.
I am centered.
I am centered. I am.
I am centered.
I am centered.
Good. And say your own now. So whatever works for you and what intention you would like to bring into this day. I am compassionate.
I am compassionate. I am love and light and joy.
Ah, I love joy.
I am responsibly powerful.
And possibly powerful.
I can do whatever I want to do.
That freedom, I am free, I can do.
I am connected and strong.
I'm strong.
Connected and strong.
Connected. Good.
Complete and bold. I am complete and bold.
Good.
I am walking in my purpose.
I am walking. Yes.
Literally.
That's my purpose. And then we're going to exhale as we come down, keep our arms open wide, and then bring them to the heart center. So that strengthens the heart. This now activates the heart and activates the magnetic field around us so that we can begin to draw in and attract all those affirmations. And taking another deep breath, it's always good to hold the hands there until you feel your own heart. And I want to add, I've been doing some Magdalene work. If you put your hands in like a diamond shape and place that over your womb. So not only as women, even men have that feminine energy and power, and it lies in the womb. so that we are allowed to create a sacred space within us and let that expand around you. And today, just for today, pay attention to the energy in the womb area and how we can expand that womb and share all our intentions with the world around us, with all those around us. And then back in prayer pose, right at your heart center, and bowing with gratitude, grace, and humility. So carrying those intentions for the day. Thank you. So often as visionary leaders, to really step in to that power of compassion and that sacred space that we create, we have to be able to not only see the radical truth and to also be able to speak that. So we want this throat chakra healed and open and not repressed and suppressed. So carrying and expressing no blame or judgment and opening those hidden aspects of ourself, because that truth, again, begins here with me. So we step out beyond our denial as if we're walking out on that dock into the bay. Is that a song? And open our windows fully so that we can also receive feedback from others and be ready to accept that. So in this womb space, it's a place of expansion, allowing, and acceptance and receiving. So if that womb space is clear, we have space to receive. So oftentimes in the work that I do, we start with a purpose journey. And I'm sure we've all done that. And Olmeca does that in her walking every day, right? And we find special gifts along the way. And there's always helpers and teachers around us in our day. Even our challenges and threats are our greatest teachers. So we look for the glimmers in the moments of miracles in our day, and also turn those triggers into the glimmers so that we can get beyond self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is when we don't allow ourselves to really walk in our purpose and to see the truth around us. So we have, some of you mentioned these mindset things that creep in, these little gremlins that try to compare us to someone else or make us more than we are, or that overachieving and people pleasing and creating limits of uncertainty, of self-doubt, and those fears that we really need to get beyond. So reaching the Holy Grail, it's interesting. I made this quite a while ago, and just last night I was reading about how the Holy Grail is connected to Mary Magdalene and that whole teaching. So I'll have to do another workshop on that next year if Renee's still around. And then our own story becomes the journey to reach that Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail is really the compassion, that place at heart within ourselves. So in the teachings of Magdalene, there is a hidden book of love, it's called, and some are questioning and wondering if that is what the Holy Grail is all about. So it's kind of interesting. And, of course, Maslow, he's been around a long time, but this pyramid hierarchy of our needs is always so important. And I've learned recently, instead of starting at the bottom and feeling that we have to go up, let's start thinking of ourselves as self-actualized beings, that divine love and joy that we mentioned this morning in our affirmations, so that we are in our full potential, that we are in our future self. And when it's difficult to see our future self, I know a little while ago I was thinking about that, probably on my birthday in January when I turned 76. And I thought, I don't know if I really want to envision my future self. I mean, you may be able to relate to that. But I changed that whole vision, and I see it in frequencies now and colors and vibrations. And I can really accept that vision of my future self, that full potential. And when we're not feeling it so well, we can envision that future self. And like a bank account that's full, we can borrow from that future self and bring it into us for today, even if it's just for today that gets us through today. So we all have then our esteem needs, our prestige, our feeling of accomplishment, and that has to come from within. So much in leadership, and we can look at the way of the world today, it's on the outside, it's external, it's a show, it's about how much we can get, how much we can do, rather than our own feeling of contentment, of joy, of accomplishment, of all of the affirmations that you all shared today. And this feeling of belongingness and love in our intimate relationships with our friends, our family, is kind of that middle ground that is so foundational that we're building on every day. And our safety, security needs, our food, water, warmth, our rest, those basic needs of a human being. So as I see it, as I'm reflecting on this, I take a deep breath of gratitude, because we're living in the world right now in such a way where most of our safety and security and those physiological needs are met, as opposed to the contrast going on in the world around us. So how do we make sense of that kind of a duality of what we're feeling and what we're living, and then turning on the news or opening the newspapers? Are there still newspapers? I don't know. Where we see the world around us is so drastically, dramatically different. So how do we contend with that? And the only real way to do that is within ourselves. And it goes back again to Gandhi's quote, to be that change that we want to see in the world. So we often change our mindsets in order to do that. And I think that happens on a daily basis, because we're continuously unraveling and peeling the layers of the onion away I use a lot of different symbols. One other thing that Angeles Arian, my mentor, did was studied symbolism cross-culturally throughout the whole world, globally, traveled and studied especially indigenous symbology. And she found that the symbols on the tarot cards are the same as the symbols and the meaning in the Torah, the book of life or the tree of life, and that those are similar to the Hopi Indians, the other indigenous cultures throughout the world, especially in South America and New Zealand, and really, very globally. So I'm shuffling cards and drawing a card while I'm talking. And the card that I got represents, look at this, mental limitations. It's that wall that we build around ourselves and try so hard to tear it down. I'll take a picture of it and post it in the group. And we're always with imaginary swords trying to break these walls down. But there are two crows sitting up above, kind of cackling and laughing, that wall is just imaginary. Like we've all said, it's a limit that we put in our minds. So I think the symbols that we find in the world around us every day show up also as metaphors for our own learning. There are just different ways that we can expand our vision, our way of seeing, and our creative expressions, our art therapy, our somatic empowerment. And again, that envisioning of our future self and our life dreams. And I love vision boarding. And it's not too late if you haven't done it in January. We're at the start of a new quarter. So we're just kind of entering Q2 here. We can make a vision board still for the end of the year. And I've been doing a new thing with my clients. I do an audit of their work and kind of their own personal, professional expression. And then I create a blueprint. And within that blueprint, there's a vision board of what they have reflected to me. So it's kind of fun. So if you, excuse me, want to experience that, I put my link to schedule a free discovery call and we can create a blueprint together. So you are that vision. You are the dream. And there's always time to create more vision and more dreams. And another way that I do that, and I want to pass this on to you because it's very effective, very powerful, is to take a stack of 3x5 cards. Some of you may know this from before, and hold it like you're holding a cell phone. And you can listen to your own voice and asking yourself, what do I want in all aspects of your life? So think of the wellness wheel or the wheel of life, our social life, our family life, our relationships, our health, our well-being, our finances. And on each card, right in the center, write one thing that you want. And after you do a pretty good size stack, the first time I was directed to do this, you can just write right in the center. I had a whole stack of cards given to me, and we were in Sonoma Valley on hillsides. and we were told to go off with a pen and our stack of cards and not to come back until every card had something on it, had one thing on it. So if any of you also want to do that, or you take a good amount of cards and you write one thing on it, you can schedule a call with me and I'll tell you the next step. But I can't tell it to you now because the way that our brains think so linearly, if I told you the second step, you would miss that whole brainstorming, expansive process of determining everything that you want. So it can be as basic as, and I really need this, so I'm going to say a pedicure or a shower or something in Maslow's hierarchy, basic needs, or maybe, let me go back to that. That's a good model to use. Let's see in my creativity, what do I really want? Do I want to finish my weaving project that's literally been sitting there 6 months? Do I want something in the area of esteem? Or does my area of belonging need more intimacy in my relationships, safety and security? And let your mind stretch and become really far-fetched, really expand into this world of the unknown. So imagine you are here, this little green possible potential, and just keep expanding and asking yourself more and more, what do I want? And so much of our lives, especially as women, we've been taught not only to play it small and be quiet and not ask for too much, but we've been taught to not want too much. We've looked at what do I need instead of what do I want. So in this particular process, the more that we desire, the more desirable we become. And the more joy starts flooding in because we've allowed ourselves to expand. I got to do something with this throat. Sorry. Does that make sense? Anyone want to add anything to that?
I think this is wonderful. You know, like you said, we played small, and I love it that when you said to envision your future self, sometimes we
Yeah,
don't even dare. We're afraid.
we're afraid to. Yeah, yeah.
We didn't
And
think
then
we could
we
do it.
wait. Yeah, we wait too long in our life. And by this time, who wants to imagine that? But we
Yeah.
have to also, expand that vision.
So it's 8:45 right now, and a few I think Sandra need to leave early. Dr. Janet, how much more slide do you have, or do we want to?
Oh, it's okay. We can stop at any time. So just to reflect or go over, review the 4 ways that we can expand our vision is through our own intuition first. So every time I meditate and I go within that spiral journey that takes me in, what happens? We get ideas. We expand outward. Our perception becomes clearer. Our insight and our trust in ourselves is stronger. So we begin to create our vision from our intuition. I can just go through these fast. And our mirror work is important in visionary leadership. When we're in a conflict in our work setting, in our homes, wherever, driving in a car, in a a line at the grocery store. I don't go to the store anymore, though. We can take whatever is coming at us as a lesson, as a teacher, because all of our life, all of us are reflecting each other. And we are multifaceted. And we may sometimes feel broken, yet again, we have that saying, it's where the light comes in, where the crack is. But there are so many different layers and multifaceted aspects to our personality. When we begin to see all of those, then we begin to grow. So remembering again in the mirror work, if you spot it in someone else, you got it within. So if it's positive or negative, if I can see it in you, it's in me. So think about examples of this in your life and how you can apply this and keep this in mind. So I'll stop here. How about
Okay.
that?
That's
Yeah.
this is wonderful. What a great presentation here, Dr. Janet. You inspire me. Let's open it up for Q&A. Sandra, what are your thoughts?
I'm blown away. I'm really enjoying this, making lots of notes because I enjoy all this kind of work. I was just speaking with a lady last night who we're going to do an interview, and I said, "What do you want to talk about?" And she says, "Magic." So we're on, and all of this inner work really is our own magic we're creating, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy that you're offering a free consultation for a blueprint to experience
Yes.
more. So I'll be doing that. Thank
Oh,
you.
good. I love doing that. So my
I
pleasure.
love it. Yes, thank you, Sandra. Yes, a lot of these stuff, the mirror work and everything that's happening is like a reflection of ourselves,
Yeah.
and everything is a lesson out there. Um, Mo, go ahead.
Do you want to stop the share so we can see everyone?
Yeah, I was just about to do that, but I can't get to that. Yeah. There we go.
Awesome. I mean, I do like your slides. You had some great slides. Oh my gosh, I need a haircut. That was really great. I
Put
think
that on a card.
every time
Put
I
that
say,
on your card. A haircut.
"Oh yeah, a haircut," that's right. I don't try to grow it out, so it's like that. I wasn't gonna come today because I've got so many things to do, and every time I say that and I come, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't miss this. So this is no exception. This was so great. I love that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We always think of that foundational piece, what your actual base needs are. But what was interesting to me is the esteem needs. I don't have that. I don't have that need for prestige. Like when I become a millionaire, the only thing I need is safety, like security, make sure no crazy people are outside my house. But I know very, very affluent people who have very, very shiny toys and amazing things, and it's fun because I get to ride in them and play with them and stuff like that, but it's not something I need. So these needs, how is another way that feeling of accomplishment, for me, my accomplishment is when my clients' needs are met. Well,
Yeah.
that fulfills me. I say when you succeed, I succeed. And
Yes.
so I'm trying to figure out that esteem piece.
I think what you're saying is right on. I think it comes within. It's our
Yeah.
own fulfillment, contentment. And
Yeah.
like I was saying, our picture of leadership is usually external,
Yeah.
and compassionate leadership turns more around on our self-fulfillment and self-esteem.
Yeah.
And how do I feel about me? It's that self-love,
Yeah.
self-acceptance. Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a big part of my coaching is like I give these stickers out like they're candy, so to speak, is I freaking love me because
Oh,
I really want women to embrace themselves and love themselves like a precious loved one, like we love other people. And so that's just it. Because I fulfill
that's
my need
beautiful.
first. Thank you. I want to make that into a t-shirt. Um, because I fulfill my health needs first, like those are my pillars. That's what I base everything around, my business, my family, everything. I have to make sure that I get my health needs in first so that I can be a better mother, friend, coach, and
Mhm.
show up in my best self. And like yesterday, day two of the Whole30, and I was dying, and I'm still dying today. But I'm still showing up in my best self because I'm taking care of myself. And so when you
Yeah,
get to that
I
point,
think that's esteem.
yeah, that feels like esteem.
Hmm.
Like I don't need external
No,
things.
yeah.
It's all in here.
And that's the shift in leadership. The leader shift, I call it.
Leadership. Oh, I gotta write that
Thank
down.
you, Mo. That's amazing. Next week, Ann Lynch, right here, she will be presenting the somatic empowerment and transformation. It's so much related. It's very related to what
Yeah,
you're talking about, Dr.
I'd have
Janet.
to
And I
come.
think, for me, it's like happiness is really the constant gratitude of what you have. It's from within. It's not from the outside.
Mm-mm.
So Anne, I mean, sorry. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is so great. It's so funny what you were saying, Mo. I felt the same way. I was like, oh no, am I going to be able to make it? I'm going to be so late. And I'm so glad I came and caught what I did catch because it was really wonderful. You did a great job,
Oh,
Dr.
God.
Thank you. Um, I feel like the work that we're supposed to do here is what I call the great work, right? Which is
Mhm.
essentially us taking care of us,
Mm.
finding ourselves and finding our purpose and connecting that mind, body, spirit, soul aspects of ourselves
Mhm.
that, a lot of us get wrapped up like you were saying, is like external, right? And not connecting into ourselves. And I can say that from experience that I overgave and overdid for so many years of my life. And it was like, who am I? And I
Mhm.
was never really that happy. I wasn't really that joyful until I learned how to connect deeper to me and who am I in this world? And how do I take care of me? Because when I show up in my full authentic self, then I'm better to serve the world. I'm better to
Mhm.
help others. And I think
Absolutely.
that's what's so important for all of us.
Yeah, to echo what Mo is saying too,
Yeah.
and
We
being the
we all
change.
have been there, huh? As women,
Mhm.
we all have been there.
Yeah.
We're a caregiver. We
Mhm.
give for our family, for our husband, for our children, and we forget about ourselves.
So, yeah.
Well, that's where I'm really focusing on this womb meditation and opening that womb space because that's where we have given everything from. That's the place of our giving. And
Yeah.
just think about it, our children have been in that sacred space. So when we learn to honor that again and expand that, then we begin
It's
to,
like we're finding ourselves at this age.
I know. Yes, that Holy Grail. That
It
was
is.
very important.
Oh yeah, that was golden. That Holy Grail. One of my favorite movies, The Holy Grail. But
Well,
next.
I enjoyed this so much.
Yeah, I was just gonna say about that womb thing. I have a lot of masculine energy, and so sometimes it's difficult for me to tap into that feminine energy, even though I've given birth to four children. But
Oh,
giving birth does not make you a woman,
right?
obviously, um, because plenty of feminine energy, high energy women have never had children, and but I really like that womb exercise because I felt really connected to that feminine energy. And because I value both the feminine and the
I
masculine, I
do
see the
too. Yeah.
importance of each in this world, in this universe. My very first tattoo was the yin and yang, that energy of both sources because it exists in all of us. So I
Well,
really I can't even explain it. It was really
yeah, that integration. And
yeah,
when you start focusing and doing that more, creating this kind of a shape and putting it right over that womb space and just listening to your womb. It
yeah,
speaks to you. It's amazing.
yeah. It's pretty
Yeah.
banged up, but it's good. Four giant children. They are not kind to me whatsoever.
I
I
didn't
remember.
know, Mo, you have four children.
That's a lot.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
A
It is.
lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, my second one, my blessed little boo boo number two. I had boo boo number one, my oldest, who's 31. He's married, living in Florida, and then boo boo number two, I got pregnant out of wedlock again by another alcoholic. So I didn't want to be a single mom with two kids, so I placed him for adoption, but it's an open adoption. So he lives in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I saw him last November, and he's just amazing.
Oh,
He's in finance. He's 27 years old. He's handsome. He's fit. He's funny. He's a great storyteller. And I just
wonderful.
he's such a so I'm so proud of him. And those other three are okay too.
That's
Well, if I
amazing.
could ask each of you to write just a little paragraph of an aha, a takeaway, something related to your experience here today, and just send that to me or connect with me, how would we do that? Um,
Can you post
yes,
that on the women chat about your requests here
yes.
so that
I'm,
other people can send it to you too who are not here?
okay. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. And I will definitely come next week.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it was, and it's going to be the similar topic.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Very
Anne, if you want to say something about it.
You have to come and find out.
Yes.
People will come, right? I hope. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it will
Oh,
be all about, connection to the self and,
Mhm.
really moving from that place of getting connected, getting grounded, getting centered, and how we can do that through physical. And I'll also go into some of the mindset, of course, that's behind that as well.
Mhm.
I think I
Thank
know
that
it
would be,
already, but I don't know it, so I'm really looking forward to it because I want to know
that's,
like the actual thematic stuff. I think I do it already,
I
but I
think
don't
you do
know
it.
what's what. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for that, Ann.
There's many ways to do it. There's many ways to do it for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
it's
And
amazing.
I think that one of the things I think is really cool is that, for us as humans, for us to evolve, right? Because that's really what we're supposed to do here. Not that I've always done that very well, better now in my life, because I'm not giving away so much as I used to, right? I'm starting to learn how to receive, which I really loved the womb um,
Yes.
meditation. That is really cool. Um, but I feel as though we sometimes get really stuck in our lives, right? And we don't know where to go from here. But once we get connected to the body, which you guys experienced today, oh, you just feel so much better. You're like, oh yeah. And because it steps us out of the patterns and the things that keep us stuck or bogged down, which is our resistance. And when we can move through that, that's when we really live the life that we want to live. And we'll talk about that next week.
That would be
Wow,
great.
amazing. Omeka, you've been quiet because you don't have your camera on. Would you like to say something?
She's walking
Omeka, are you,
away.
Yeah, the
There
doorbell
she is.
rang, and it's getting ready to rain, so I was blowing. Sorry, I did miss half of it, but I will catch the replay. But
Mhm.
yeah, Mo, the womb energy and connection, and yeah, so that kind of resonated with me before I disappeared. It all did. The seasons, the direct, all of that, everything. So I look forward to checking out
Yeah.
the yeah, everything was blowing everywhere. I was like, okay, I gotta cover my hair. It's like how I have leaves all in my hair. So yeah, thank you. And I'll listen to what you just said
Well,
in
listen
terms of
and also
consultation or
schedule
whatever. But yeah,
schedule your call.
okay.
You put the
I
link in the
I
in
call
the
it the soul source strategy call.
Okay.
that's great.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you so much.
will that
So
be in
it's,
the Facebook group? Is
go ahead.
that you do that? Is put that link in there?
Say it again.
Are you going to put because I don't know, maybe it's because I came
Oh,
late.
the link is I put it in the
In
group.
the women coffee chat,
hmm In the group.
Oh,
in the
in
group,
this chat?
the
It's
Well,
coffee,
not
yeah,
in the
the
chat here on Zoom, but it's in the
oh, okay. So it's in
group
the
chat.
Facebook. I'll check it out in the
it's in the
Facebook.
chat. Yeah.
Because I
Um,
can't see it, but that's okay. I'll just get it in the chat in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Thank
yes,
you so
Or,
much,
yes.
or
everyone.
you can just direct message me. Let's see. Oh, there it went. It was still on my.
Oh, okay. Now I see it. Now I can see it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
This
Thank you.
This is so wonderful. It's 9:02, so
Okay.
we're running out of time. So Dr. Janet, I'd just like to have you say your last words before we part here. As I said before, Anne will be here next week, and make sure you come back again. Dr. Janet, if you want to say your last words before we close this meeting.
Yeah, thank you all. And it's just my pleasure to be here. I can't wait to come next week. And thank you, Rini, for creating this for us and for holding this space for so many years.
Hey guys, we are getting
Thank
ready for
you.
our accountability call,
Oh,
and
shoot.
I want to
Oh,
make
shoot.
sure
Shoot.
you are there. Attendance
I'm
has been a
doing-
little
Out
sparse
of control.
Thank you. See you next week. Have a great
Bye.
weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.